of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So we'll just do a quick roll call. So Lori. Maya is here. And Mel is here. So Mel's.
No.
You're here. And I'm here. And we understand that Josh will be here any second. So before we move on, I just want to introduce Mel. She's our new member. So,
Hello.
you said you didn't quite, you didn't know some of the people, right? So I don't know if anybody just wants to give a quick introduction of background or something like that. So Lori, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm Lori Beal. I've lived here full-time 5 years, have been property owner for 20. Used to be a nurse midwife.
Okay. And Maya? You wanna, oh, you're on.
I used to work with Mel. I used to work with Mel at the resort.
I know Maya. And I know Joshua.
okay.
I think
Okay, and then, so you might tell them about you then. And you know me, so.
yes, I know you. Yeah, I'm Mel. I've lived in Angel Fire for about 12 years, full time, and yeah, I'm excited to be part of this committee and help figure out this challenge that we're facing in Angel Fire.
All right, great. Okay, so next we have the approval of the agenda, and I had one request that we move item E up to the B item A, since we have a guest speaker. So all in favor, I'll take a motion for the change.
Change.
And
Okay.
a second. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, all right, so that'll be our first business, and then one other item that we need to add. That we need to add is approval of the minutes that I sent in the email. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes sent in the email?
Wait, hold on. What I got was notes. Was that the minutes?
Yes. Do they need to be in a specific format?
Yeah, can we get them like on the agenda format? Because I can show you the minutes. These,
Mhm.
if we could just put who transcribed it, we could get it on the letterhead. If you need, I can send that to you, but if you don't.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. Whoever the new secretary is can do that, so. Okay, all right, so, okay, so let's go ahead and start with the presentation. Oh, go ahead.
You need me to motion to approve the minutes?
No, because they're not in the right format, so we need to, yeah, so, okay. All right, so, Rocky, do you want to introduce our speaker?
Yes. Madam Chair, committee members, I'd like to introduce to you Elena Gonzalez. Elena Gonzalez is the CFO. Did I get that right? CFO with
It's actually Chief Operating Officer, and then I just changed to Chief Growth Officer, so you don't need to remember that though.
all right. And she's with HomeWise Incorporated. And I did have an initial conversation with her, and I was very impressed with what her organization could offer in our workforce housing, especially maybe in phase 2. And so I asked her to come and present the things that they can offer. And so here she is. Elena, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. I have a couple of introductory slides if that would help. I don't know if I'd be able to share that. I'm not going to bore you with too much, but let me see if I can make that happen. Let me move this screen here. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. So really, thank you for having me, Madam Chair, and the rest of the committee. My name's Elena Gonzalez. I'm the Chief Growth Officer here at HomeWise. I've been with the organization for 12 years. And HomeWise, I'm happy to say, we're actually celebrating our 40th anniversary this year. So we have been around for 4 decades now. And we started in Santa Fe. We have a bricks and mortar office there. And we opened our office about the time I came on in Albuquerque. We opened a second branch about 12, 14 years ago. And so basically we're everything homeownership. We just kind of rebranded in this last year. New branding looks a little bit different. You might know us from our old logo and our old branding, but it's HomeWise, different, a little bit different, Unlock Life. Our mission is the same. We're all about homeownership, trying to help create successful homeowners and strengthen neighborhoods so that people can really just improve their financial well-being and quality of life. Just in essence, how do we help people get ahead through homeownership? And so we don't do rental, but we do home ownership, and we do it very well. And over the years, we have really tried to kind of crack the nut on how to do this. And so all these years we have adapted, and I'm going to go quickly on the next slide through our business model in a moment, so you kind of get an essence of what we have done over the years and how we've adapted. But we've helped over 7,000 families across New Mexico become homeowners, and we have this kind of end-to-end or one-stop shop homeownership centers in Albuquerque and Santa Fe. And I'll talk about how our lending could kind of come in handy with what Rocky shared with me as we've talked over the last few weeks. So our business model, even though it looks quite simple, it's really robust. The front end and what's most applicable to this audience in this community in the village of Angel Fire would really be, how do we help reach people and get them ready with the first kind of module of our business model, which we are all about free coaching and education. We do homebuyer education workshops. We're HUD approved to do that as well. We have financial literacy classes, and a lot of our time, labor, and love from our home purchase advisors is the one-on-one financial coaching, because everybody's in a different spot. Like you're just thinking about home ownership, you haven't thought of it, where should you start? So our home purchase advisors work with individuals and families, really customized, confidential coaching, saying, okay, let's help you address what barriers you might face, which could be credit, debt, savings, income. Like those are really the 4 pieces of the puzzle, if you will, on how to get pre-approved for a really affordable mortgage. And so a lot of times we will, work with clients for weeks, months, a few years. It really just depends on where that family is and what they need help with. We help them with a really robust action plan. And imagine us as their cheerleaders, really. Everybody, nobody really likes to sit down and talk about the personal finances, especially if you're worried that you're not in a good place. So we do that and build this action plan and make it very simple for the family to follow that, really. And we're their cheerleader and encourager along the way. And just keeping, we remind them what is the prize at the end. You really can start investing in yourself through home ownership. And I'm really passionate about this. I've been doing it my whole life, born and raised in Albuquerque, but around New Mexico. My previous nonprofit, I actually had the same mission, but my target market was people with disabilities and their families. And so a lot of that free coaching and education, gosh, it's just so important. And these are things we can even take our show on the road. I was telling Rocky, like, we'd be happy to teach classes in your neck of the woods. We have a team of 4 trainers that do financial fitness or home buyer education, or both. We can offer both. The real estate support and some of the other things may not be as relevant. We don't have realtors on the ground, of course, in your area, but what we do across the state is we'll partner with real estate agents when the time comes. Let's say we're working with one of you, we get you pre-approved. I'll talk about our lending in a minute. And then a realtor helps you find something in your price range, or you do the phase 2, your development of workforce housing for home ownership. Then you already have the product. So, but we do have realtors on staff in Albuquerque and Santa Fe that work with families all day long. And everybody's on salary, no commission. And then the other thing, what we do, the next 2 kind of buckets are almost, they're very closely related. We are a mortgage lender. We are a nonprofit CDFI. And what does that mean? A community development financial institution. That's how we're set up. We're a 501c3. CDFIs, there's many of us, many CDFIs across the country, very few that really have this business model that is very comprehensive around home ownership. A lot of other CDFIs offer like small business lending and all of that, but we do mortgage lending. We offer conventional financing. We make it super affordable, no mortgage insurance, because we put so much time and effort into coaching and counseling that the risk is very little. So we are a Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac seller servicer. So we do conventional financing, and and we're soon to be, actually, I didn't tell you this, Rocky, last time we talked, but we're getting certified to do VA lending as well. But I think it's this middle square where it says down payment assistance is super important. That's where I get fired up. And I'm going to tell you why this is so important. You probably have noticed in your area and across New Mexico, there is quite the affordability crisis. And it's happened during and post pandemic, and the prices have gone up everywhere. It's not cheap to build either. So everything has gone up. So I'm not probably, preaching to the choir about that, because that's an issue. So what we do at HomeWise, we will work tirelessly with counties, cities, the state, and federal sources to raise down payment assistance resources. And to really bring this home, there's no other way but to use examples. For example, we've partnered with the city of Albuquerque, and we got them to use some of their CDBG funds for home buyer assistance, like up to $40,000 per eligible borrower under 80% of area median income. One city of Santa Fe, same thing. The city of Santa Fe has an affordable housing trust fund. They've also let us use that and administer that for DPA, for short, down payment assistance. But what's really cool is that the state has money. And one recent example, we got the Department of Workforce Solutions to loosen the purse strings for $1.8 million. What we did is we helped Valencia County get that money, design a homeownership program. And you're not alone if you don't have like homeownership or affordable housing programs. You could be big, small, county, city, village, whatever it is. It's doable if we can help get you some state or federal funds. So I told the Valencia County, don't panic. We will help you. You can put out an RFP. HomeWise answered the RFP. We're administering the Valencia County Down Payment Assistance Program. And I can send you information so you could really see a true example. It was $30,000 for eligible borrowers, very generous on the income eligibility. But we're doing all the work. And so that's what Valencia County needed, a partner that's been doing this for decades. I helped him design the program. We vet the eligibility for the borrowers. We do the income eligibility. We partner with first mortgage lenders, including ourselves. We did some of the loans, but not all of them. I trained like 20 lenders. And it makes a huge difference because all of these down payment assistance programs are typically deferred loans, 0 interest, no monthly payments, and it's the silent second loan behind the first mortgage. And let me tell you why this is so important, especially in high cost areas like yours. It's because most of the workforce, their income is like here, it's at one level, but housing prices are here, they're higher. And who is going to fill that gap? That's what's missing in our state. So HomeWise, like, I don't think I slept all of April because I was trying to help Valencia County get 60 contracts in 30 days because we had a tight timeline. Because otherwise people couldn't even go under contract. They needed all the help they could get. So if we can do something like that for like your phase 2 development and help you bring in resources to help your workforce afford a house to buy, we'd be more than happy to do that. Like I'm offering our technical assistance on that, and also our status as a CDFI, because we can also look to bring in resources from the CDFI fund. So that with our lending and down payment assistance, that's probably our secret to success in helping workforce, either single income households, double income households, afford a house, even in high cost areas. The next thing that a lot of people don't know, but we do lots of post-purchase support. So we're very client centric, our business model. And so it's almost a client for life type of mentality that we have because we service all of the mortgage loans. Even if we're not the first mortgage lender and we just have the DPA, we service those. And if families, the reason that's so important is that if families have a hardship, like we all know, people lost their jobs during the pandemic or whatever it is, they just call us and say, hey, I lost my job or I lost my spouse and I don't know how I'm going to continue to make these mortgage payments. And we say, you know what, come in for a cup of coffee. Let's talk. Let's help you figure this out. That is something I'm very proud of because it shows in our numbers. We have a super duper low delinquency rate. I think it's 1.5%. And that means only 1.5% of all the thousands of loans that we service have been delinquent at any point in time. And compare that with an FHA mortgage delinquency rate, it's about 10%. And so we really do think that's an important part of what we do. Kind of the last part of what we do, which is not super relevant for this audience, but it shows you how comprehensive we are. We call it neighborhood revitalization. It's community development and redevelopment. For example, we're in Albuquerque, we're in the oldest neighborhood in Albuquerque called Barelas, south downtown, where the old rail yards used to be, and it used to be in the heyday in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and then that kind of went away. But we're in sort of a disinvested neighborhood, so we decided to do some commercial redevelopment, offer some small commercial loans. We rehabbed a building, and now it's a 5-star daycare from infant to age 5. Like, we look at communities in a holistic way. Like, people want access to affordable daycare, access to good schools, access to job opportunities and training opportunities, to healthy foods. We rehabbed a building across from the famous Barelas Coffee House, and now that building is home to the Street Food Institute, a nonprofit. Like, they do job creation and they train food entrepreneurs. So it's just something that I like to talk about because it's we're also very proud of that we are not a for-profit, bank or mortgage lender. We're so many different things, and we're just trying to be responsive to what communities need and what the residents need. So when Rocky was telling me a little bit about the challenges in your area, I said, well, here are some of the free services that we can offer your workforce, because we've learned the hard way that the old adage, if you build it, they will come. That's not necessarily true. You've really got to assess your buyer pool. You have to assess the needs, like how many people would be interested in home ownership? Where would they be commuting from? Hopefully the workforce that work, in Angel Fire, of course. How close are they to being mortgage eligible? How many people can afford the price point of the homes that you're thinking of developing? How much down payment assistance would you need to close that gap? There's all of these factors that I would encourage you to think about as you go down this road. So what I could really offer, you don't need to click the QR code. I can send this to you. This is mostly for an audience of, I'll stop sharing now, but if we were talking to your residents, but we would be just happy to offer whatever services we could as you take on any initiatives regarding home ownership. And we can be a thought partner. I can offer my own services of like technical assistance for free, just to help you think through some of the challenges that you might face as you move forward. And I was very excited to know that you guys are thinking about how do we provide home ownership opportunities for our workforce. That's it just that lit me up. So thank you, Rocky, for inviting me here. And I really appreciate the time. I can take a couple of questions if you all have the time. Sorry to drone on, but I appreciate the opportunity.
I did have a couple questions.
Sure.
So back when we were talking about the down payment assistance, you
Mhm.
mentioned, I thought I heard you mention that you do the vetting of the income eligibility and you also work with lenders. So are you saying you work with other lenders in addition to your own providing the mortgages? That's
Typically,
one of the services.
Typically we do, yeah, depending on the source, like the state money that went to Valencia County. The county commissioners in Valencia, they wanted it open to, eligible lenders. So I actually said, hey, that's not a problem. We can do the down payment assistance behind there first. And what I did is I trained all of the lenders. But we also, of course, we make fees on the back end if we do a mortgage, like the Fannie Mae pays us to service the loans and all of that. And that's part of our business model, is making fees off of whatever services like real estate services or mortgage fees or loan servicing fees. But yeah, we can do it either way.
If we're the sellers, can we actually recommend you?
We haven't seen that as a conflict anywhere before. We have, you can give folks more than one option. That's fine. We do the same thing. So that's kind of up to you. If you write a request for proposals and you're looking for somebody to administer it and do the lending, in one contract, we can do that. City of Albuquerque has it that way. And so we do the first mortgage and we do the DPA behind that. And so that is not open to other lenders. So it can be done, and that's a federal source going through a municipality. So you can do it either way.
Well, I certainly think we'll have to learn a lot more about it as we start considering the homeownership, but I appreciate your coming to speak to us. It's good and helpful. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alana.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I'll send you more information, Rocky, and you can distribute it to your team. Thank you. I'll log off. Have a good rest of your meeting. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, Moon.
Okay, I'd like to go back to the agenda and reopen for a couple of changes. We don't have on here discussion about the committee members, and that should have been on here. I'm sorry I missed that. I was on vacation. So I'd like to add that as an additional item, which includes officers. So I'd like a motion to add that. We'll do that at the end,
To add,
to add the discussion of the committee members.
the motion to add more members.
No, motion to discuss the committee members. We're gonna discuss it at the time, so.
Okay.
It's okay, because we don't have a secretary, and I'm resigning, so,
You're resigning?
yes, because my schedule's too busy. You did get my note, right?
I did. I have been out of pocket for about 2
Okay.
months, so.
So, yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about it for months, so. So we need to discuss that, so I want to have that motion, add that to the committee.
Okay, my motion.
Motion, and then second,
I'll second that.
okay, all in favor? Any opposed? You're opposed? Oh, no, I'm sorry, you're on a delay, I'm sorry, Mel. Okay, all right. It's passed. Okay, so we'll get to that at the end, okay. Next item on the agenda is discussing the rental rates for the remaining 24 homes, which is one of the items that was passed out here, I'm assuming. So you want to go over that, Rocky?
Yes. I'm sure, committee members, actually, items A and B are probably one and the same, because they have a lot to do with one another,
Okay,
okay? So, what I wanted to discuss was, for these next 24 homes, what I've done and what you see here in this sheet that I put in front of you is, kind of a, outline of the monthly and the annual revenue and expenses expected in FY 27, starting July 1, going through that year, making some assumptions, okay? And so if you look at the, on the left-hand side, FY 27 workforce housing revenue, the 6 homes that we have installed right now, we're renting them for $1,100 a month. So they'll continue for the next 12 months at $1,100 a month. The 7 homes next year, those are the 7 homes that we are purchasing from Zia manufactured, or whatever, Zia.
right, okay.
Okay, and so what we did is we just estimated if we charged $1,300 a month for those homes. And then, and I'll explain it in a minute. And then the 17 homes, which is the homes that we'll be getting from Sustainability Partners, because of the payment that we'd have to pay them, we are estimating that we'll need to charge $1,400 a month for those homes. Just an estimate, okay? So when we put that together, and then we started figuring out what the expenses were, and we outlined all the expenses, looking at the revenue at the top, and then looking at all the expenses. A lot of them there are the property management expenses. Then the Sustainability Partners lease payment to $1,250 a month. That's what they came back with for 17 homes. And then look, estimating what the insurance is for the 6 homes, and then for the 24 additional homes. Adding in the expenses for the maintenance costs for workforce, actually our public works department responds to a lot of the issues that are there, and they're building their time to this project. And then cost overruns, it was estimated, we suggested from our finance department to estimate 15% of overall expenses. Seemed high to me, but it's like it's having a reserve, okay? When we put these expenses together, if you look at the bottom, I mean, looking at our revenue, we're only gonna have $540 left out of the year. Now, that's actually kind of good because we don't want to make money, but we don't want to lose money either. So if we've done our job in doing a proper estimating of these expenses, then we hardly have any wiggle room for the rents that we're going to charge. So initially, when I called this agenda, I thought we were going to determine what that rent is. Until I did the budget analysis and I looked at this a little closely, then I was like, well, we don't have much room. to make adjustments. But I thought I'd present this to you all and maybe get your feedback on that. I kind of don't like having to charge more rent for homes that are in the same subdivision.
Right.
However, the homes are a little bit better than the homes that we're gonna get are a little bit higher quality than the 6 that we bought. If you're aware, the 6 that we bought came with 2x4 external wall construction and R13 insulation, which isn't the best. The homes that we're getting now from Zia and from Sustainability Partners are gonna be configured the same. 6-inch wall external and 2x4 internal, which doesn't really make a big difference there, but the 6-inch external walls do make a difference because I think we're gonna get R23 in the walls. We figured that, you know, since they're a little bit better construction, that we can charge more.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to present that to you, and now it's up for discussion.
So that's my first thought was, all these homes are gonna have pretty much the same floor plan, same square footage, same everything. And you're gonna have one neighbor who's paying $1,100 and another one's paying $1,400, and that feels uncomfortable. If I were in that neighborhood, I mean, I know it happens everywhere. It happens in the condos, it happens because it's all up to the owners. But since these are all owned by the village, my first recommendation would be, is there some way we can get that rent consistent across the board?
The
So
challenge,
that it doesn't, yeah, go ahead.
the challenge is mathematically, I mean, so skip to the bottom of the 17 homes with Sustainability Partners, there's a cost to financing those homes.
Right,
The other homes have been paid for out of cash, so just, you're gonna have cost of capital in there somewhere. So realistically, if you're using the 17 Sustainability Partner homes at $1,400 a month, the only way to normalize those is to bring the $1,100 ones up.
right, I understand that.
And obviously, we're not gonna do that mid-lease.
Right,
Right,
no,
so-
that,
so-
yeah.
So, I guess the only thing I would say here is built into your spreadsheet, and I see the math you're looking at is like, there's no room. The 15% of overall expenses is, I get why finance has said that. I guess the only thing I would double check is making sure that in Sustainability Partners lease payments, that we haven't double dipped anything. Because they are covering some things mathematically, warranty work, and it's not gonna be basic maintenance and those types of things. But make sure we haven't double counted anything here,
That's
because
a good point.
realistically, if we're paying Sustainability Partners to do something, because we have to as part of their contract, but we're also coming along and paying for that a second time somewhere else, that might be the only way I can see to get that 1,400 number down, if that makes sense.
And one thing that we also talked about was using the remainder of the money to purchase them. So that was the 7 homes that we purchased. That's all of the first grant.
The next step, yes,
So that first grant is completely spent.
exhausted.
Okay.
So there's the 50 million that's out there from the person that came to the ribbon, the state person that came from the ribbon. So there is money we could possibly get, correct?
There is, and if you look at that light blue section below, those items are the things that we weren't able to complete with the 2.9 million.
Okay.
And so I have applied for funding for those items
Okay.
from the Workforce Solutions.
I have a question. For that 1,100 or projected 1,400 a month, is that including all of their utilities?
The only utilities that includes, Mel, are the sewage and water.
Okay,
They pay their own propane, they pay their own electric and their own internet.
okay. I mean, I feel like the 2x6 is a big enough difference for insulation that it may make a little bit of a difference to even out with the electric bill. But once these people in the first homes, are they on year leases or how long are they in those homes?
Yearly leases, we haven't had any requests for less than a year.
So we could raise the rent for them once the lease is up if needed.
We definitely could. After that 1-year lease, we could up that rent and even it out perhaps,
And those started March first, correct? Or
April 1st.
April first. So they've got 11 months basically, or
Mhm.
10 months left. Okay.
Mhm. That is.
When
a
are the
thought.
new,
And
sorry, when are the new homes supposed to be here and installed?
We have 7 of them. I expect them to be starting to get installed sometime in July. We still have our Public Works, department still has work to do to prepare the property, for them to come in and do the foundations and prepare for the homes. I believe that they're having the homes built right now as we speak. But, they're nowhere near to be delivered yet. Of course, we still got a lot of work to do on the property. So I expect, 7 to be delivered in July. I expect the other 17 to be delivered somewhere in August and then maybe even September.
Okay,
So it looks like you based it this year on assuming an October 1 rental date, essentially.
I did that on October 1, just to
Yeah.
kind of give us some
Leeway.
leeway and, budgeting, you're always looking at the worst case.
And do we already have the foundation started for those or
No.
that, oh, that's because they're gonna do the whole thing.
They're
Right.
turnkeying the
They're
next.
turnkey.
It's a turnkey contract.
So based on, and I realize, we hired some contractors or whatever to do this. Based on the amount of time that it took to get those foundations and everything in, do you think that this company is realistic to do? They're gonna come in and do 6 all at once and what do you think? I mean,
I believe they're gonna be a lot more aggressive because they not only have the 7, they're also the company that's gonna work with sustainability partners
I see,
to
okay,
put in the 17.
okay,
So they've got to have a team, and I've been keeping in touch with them, with Zia,
okay.
and, he's got a Seaman crew ready to go. And we're just kind of standing by, waiting for when we are ready to start working with here.
And they've done similar projects, similar size.
Yes.
They have a,
Yeah. They've never done one like this, but
Mhm.
the contractor that he uses has done many,
okay.
the cement, the foundation contract.
So it wouldn't be new for them to all of a sudden come in and say, I gotta do 7 foundations in a week or, okay,
No, I think they've done as many as 40.
okay.
We are committed to 17 homes with sustainability.
We're committed to that, yes. We don't have any budget for it to purchase any more. No,
So maybe if you didn't do 16 or could that change where we had some leeway?
That's a thought. It's a thought.
I mean, a budget of only being off by $540 for the year feels really good to me personally. But,
Well, and then we have to, wonder, do we include everything,
yeah,
Well, and clearly, this document's gonna live going forward. If we have way over or way underestimated one way or the other, then as these terms are gonna get up, we'll either be able to adjust those down because we've overestimated, or be like, oops, there's not enough in there, we need to bump the rents to account for it, because the goal is always to keep this cost neutral. This is not supposed to be a profit center for the village. It's supposed to be workforce housing as cheaply as we can reasonably offer it.
Right.
so remind me, the village general fund loan, you say $500,000 payments. Is that the workforce housing fund that we started from the permits or?
No, so that is well, it's a few things. The first one is it's the purchase of the dirt. The dirt that the workforce housing project sets on was bought before we got our grant money, and so we
Okay.
cannot go back and
Oh, that's right, okay,
backdate it. And I think there's some engineering in there as well, is what the balance of that is. Because in order to get that grant, we had to make the project shovel ready, essentially.
right,
So by buying the dirt and having a plan to go present at workforce housing, we got the grant. Unfortunately, that 500 grand will have to be paid back over time to the general fund, because it functions as a loan essentially from
okay,
the general fund to the workforce housing fund.
So we're proposing a 5-year payment plan.
okay, so that's what that is, it's paying
Yeah.
out of the workforce, and how much has the workforce housing fund? Do we know what the balance of that is so far?
I'm guessing that, I think it's 1.3 million we have right now.
Really? That's pretty good.
Well, but we have a, $1 million contract with the 7 homes. Are you talking about,
Okay, no, I was
it
talking about,
hasn't expended yet, you know.
I was talking about the funds that have been raised by the
The
permit.
permit fees, that's gonna be in the few
Please.
thousand. at this
Okay,
point,
that's
'cause-
what I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it was a $400 essentially. So permits went from $600 to $1,000, and that $400 delta is being fed back into the workforce housing fund.
Okay.
But I think year to date, if I remember, we're up to like maybe 18 or 19 new build
Okay.
permitted homes, so. You know, a few $1,000s essentially is what that is.
I think we have to. Also, are the ADAs gonna be in the highest income?
Highest income.
You know, the 17 homes are the 2 ADA houses that we have gonna be in the
They
1,400.
I think we're buying the
No,
two
they'll be-
ADA homes in the set of
In the
seven.
7, in the set of 7.
Yeah,
That's
Oh,
what-
okay.
That's.
Now, one thing we could do is we could make them both 1350. That way all 24 are the same, but
That would kind of feel, that would feel
That would-
slightly better.
that could work.
Yeah.
At least to be the same.
Yeah,
And then we could project that 1,100, the 6 homes will go up to 1350 after that year leases up, something like that.
something in that range.
I mean, and this, in terms of, I'm just not familiar, I mean, the only time I ever see any rental information about Angel Fire is when somebody posts on, like, you know, the Angel Fire info board, I've got a condo available. You know, I mean, I've seen 400 square foot condos going for 1,750 a month. I've seen some things for 22. So I have no idea. I mean, these still feel like they're
These are still
affordable,
substantially below.
substantially below, and are they still within? Do we feel like most of the people that are applying this still feels good to them? I know we talked last time, we had a range of like $38,000 to like 141,000 or 114,000 was the applicants, so probably for somebody who's making 38,000 a year, it might be a little tough unless they had a roommate, but I mean, there's not, what can you do?
I don't think there was any applicants that are making that low.
Okay.
If they were, they're rooming with
They're
somebody,
rooming with
or it's a
somebody.
husband and wife.
Yeah, it still feels, I mean, still 1,350 feels really good.
Yeah, according to the market.
1350 sounds better.
Once we get, but we can't, like you said, we can't go mid-lease. That would make, I mean, we have a contract
No,
that
we
says
Yeah, we can't change
we
the
can't
6.
change that, yeah.
Yeah,
The majority of
Yeah.
are the majority of the 6 homes that you have rented, are they for families or do you have a lot of people like roommate situation?
there's a combination. I think about half. I think 3 of them are families and I think the other 3 are roommates situations.
Okay. Sorry, I don't really know anything about them. What are they, like 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom?
All the homes are 3-bedroom, 2-bath. The
Oh,
Clark
nice.
model
Okay.
is slightly smaller than the Mariner, but it's still a 3-bedroom. Slight different configuration.
Okay.
And Mel, I was thinking, the governance might be helpful too, to kind of understand. I don't know if anybody sent you that, probably not. We can send you a copy of our governance. That talks about the kind of the rules for the people that can live in them and things like, you know, who would be eligible and who wouldn't.
Yeah, please
Does
send
it-
that to me.
Okay, because they have to be working for someone with an active business license in Angel Fire, so it can't be somebody from Taos. You know,
Okay.
or, I mean, they could live in Taos right now, but you know, but it has to be a.
Yeah, there's some specific rules around subcontractors, working for the Village of Angel Fire or working for a licensed business in town.
Right, so
Okay.
that way that.
Just to catch Mel up on one more thing, does the governance document have the income caps in it? I don't think it does, that's a separate sheet.
It is a separate.
You might send that as well. Mel, so there are income limitations on who qualifies to live in here that were a part of the grant process that we went through. So, and it is by
Okay.
number of persons determines what those income caps are.
I'll send that to the committee.
Okay,
Gotcha.
thank you.
Okay, thank
Maya,
you.
do you, have any questions? I know sometimes it's hard when you're on the phone to jump in. Do you have anything or any questions or?
No, no questions right now.
Right,
So if we didn't pave the roads?
No, we didn't, remember we.
No, I'm saying if we did not, if you got money, did you have to use it for that?
No.
I mean, that's $1
But,
million.
yeah, now that's part of what I did apply for as a request for information from the Workforce Solutions.
mm-hmm,
I applied for 1.89 million
Okay.
for basically all those items listed right there. You can see the dollar amount.
so you have to specify the items that you're applying for money for, or you just apply
In
for it? Okay,
the, yeah.
so I guess, so the next.
Yeah.
So,
If we were to get that funding, we would go ahead and continue paving the roads.
Mhm.
We would put covered decks if I got everything that I wanted. We covered decks on each of the 30 homes. We would put a perimeter fencing around the property. And then we would also buy phase 2 property.
Okay, so the perimeter fencing, not individual, but all the way
Around
around,
the whole.
Okay.
Yeah, just
which I
to
think that's
make it
great.
safe for children running around, whatever, at least they have a boundary.
I think that's a great combination of things to do. I mean, we talked about, last time we did talk about the paved roads would be kind of a nice to have since the rest of the community is mostly not paved. But it would certainly, I mean, if we can get the grant money for it, that'd be great.
Yeah. Now, one thing that could happen, or I think will happen, this summer is, we will probably pave the entrance to the subdivision, do the curbs and the gutters around Alpine and Zeb's and the entrance into the subdivision.
Mhm.
We got an estimate of $143,000 to do that work. And, we have an appropriation of 100,000 that I'm just waiting for.
Mhm.
And according to our 2.9 million budget, we have enough funds in there to cover the 43,000. So we can put that together and get that paid, the entrance. And
Okay.
maybe that should reduce the cost of the paving the rest of the road slightly.
Well, I like the idea. And I'm not the only committee member here, and I'm only here tonight, so, but I like the idea of balancing out the rent between the 7 and the 17 if we could. And then when the time comes to renew, that the committee and or the village revisit, what the opportunity is there based on how your cost overruns and, things like that. I guess I didn't quite understand what the tenant retention fee.
These are the dollar amounts. These are the expenses that was outlined in the property manager's contract.
Okay,
And, there have been thoughts that maybe we may not continue this contract after it's 1 year.
mhm,
I think Brett has some ideas of hiring somebody to live on the premises and be the property manager.
okay. And that was always on the table too,
It
as
always was.
just to discuss.
Just kind of experiment thing, you know,
Right,
we had one bid under 60,000 and went with it.
right, okay.
are you looking for any action on this item tonight, any vote or just discussion?
I'd like recommendations.
Okay.
Which I think I've heard, but
Mhm. Josh,
Look for money to buy more.
look for money to buy more.
So I guess, because whatever recommendation this committee makes is going to be passed along to council, and then council will decide what to do with it. So it would be good if there's agreement amongst the committee members that splitting that difference between 1,300 and 1,400 to 1,350, if that feels better, or if there's any other things that you have in here, I would go ahead and formalize it in a motion and a vote so that that can be passed along to council as a recommendation, coming from this committee.
So, okay, so that's one recommendation. I think the only other recommendation is to continue to look for funds for outright purchase, although that doesn't impact what we've got here, right? Because we've got a contract with Sustainability Partners already. So that would be a future thing. That would be the only So really the only, any other recommendations for this?
So the contract doesn't allow you to buy them out early.
It does,
It does.
if we had the cash to do it,
So we
absolutely.
need, yeah, we have to have
You have
it.
to buy them all out.
No, well, it's, you could buy out, you could come along and say we got a grant that would allow us to buy 5 units, and we decided to do that, we could do it. That would be kind of a complicated grant for Rocky to write, but in theory, if we got grant money that could be used towards the purchase of these homes, that's what it would be, because on paper, we are leasing these homes from Sustainability Partners, adding a slight cost adjustment to make sure it's cost neutral to the village and making that the rent. So if we got $8 million or whatever it would be to buy all 17 homes, we could essentially have that be all that rent money flowing back into workforce housing. And skipping ahead to when that is 5, 10, 15 years down the road, when these are all potentially owned free and clear, well, the revenues are still going to be here. The intention is to continue plowing those revenues into the next project, right?
So what I'm hearing there is maybe continue to look for grants for early payoff or whatever, however you want to word that. Is that what you're getting at,
That's,
Lori?
sure.
Okay, Mel, any recommendations that you might think of
I
beyond
mean,
that?
I think 1350 is very reasonable, especially if some of those are gonna be, roommate shared rent situations. And I think, for the 6 months where they may overlap, we just write it out and rediscuss the contract with, at their year lease.
Discuss for a little bit, okay? Maya?
Yeah, I agree. The 1350 is extremely reasonable for a 3-bedroom, so that sounds
Okay.
good to me.
Okay, and Josh, anything extra there? Okay, so what I heard was balance out the rent 1350 for the new units. And then revisit the rental rates as the other homes approach their 1-year lease end. And then continue to look for grants as an opportunity to outright purchase some of the ones that we're leasing through, or pay off early payoff of the ones that we're working with Sustainability Partners.
Can I ask maybe what the intent is to seek more money for phase 1?
Well, if we pay those off early, then doesn't that reduce our expense?
It does, but are you talking about, you're not talking about lowering the rents or anything, right? You're just,
No, just,
No, just to
bring in extra, okay.
Yeah, if there's if there's a grant out there that would give us that,
I think
but I don't know how fast that would come. I mean, it's, I just think it's an
it'd be
opportunity.
great to be moving it towards phase 2 or whatever.
Right,
Or, or maybe some of these things that we don't get funding. Right?
Okay.
Okay.
I guess one question, 1350 is obviously right in between the, splits the difference, but there's 17 homes at the 1400. Would it be maybe to figure the math out there and say maybe it needs to be 1375, figure out what it needs to be so that you're not too short on the 17, because those are all being financed, right?
I see what you're saying.
So in other words, I get what you're saying about normalizing it, but the right number mathematically,
It could,
it may be 1375 instead of 1350, just so that you're closer to the weighted average of the 17 homes. As
yeah,
opposed to the,
make the all
that's a
the
good
same
point. Once you
price
do
except for
to add the math,
right,
it could turn on.
correct. So pick a number in between those two that makes sense and just rent them the same.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, I still kind of think the added R value is kind of worth more money.
Well, we're only talking about doing this for the 7 and the 17.
Okay.
We're not talking about changing
Not the
anything to the
6.
6. Correct. And it may be that when those lease terms come up, we decide actually, yeah, we are gonna leave the rents on those a little less because they're a little cheaper unit. That's a decision to be made next spring.
Do the math.
The justification is that their electric bills and gas bills are gonna be a little higher.
That number
And I
comes
think
to
once-
1370.
Sorry. I was just gonna say that I think once we figure out what that number is gonna be, we can let those tenants in the current homes, give them like a 6-month notice and say, hey, we're gonna be raising the rent, like, so they have plenty of time to figure out what they're doing.
a good idea.
To raise the first six, right?
Good point.
Not the first six,
We
the seven.
can.
and the-
Yeah.
the others.
Yeah, so if I did the math right, which I hope I understand how to do it, 1370.83, so just make it 1375. That might take care of your $540.
Yeah.
To change.
No,
Well, we didn't want to hold on to that.
right,
And actually, it was weird. That number was bigger, but then,
Recommendation.
okay.
Can we ask Kit Carson if they have any grant money to help with utilities for workforce housing?
always ask.
I mean, they're getting grant money left and right, so.
Okay,
That would help the 1350 cover if they didn't have utilities also.
okay. All right, so do I have a motion for those recommendations? Balance the rent to 1375.
So we're making motions on all of these or individually or together? Are these all
Together.
just recommendations to council?
Yeah, just one recommendations, because I mean, it's, the main discussion is the recommendations for rent. That was what we were mostly looking for the feedback.
Okay, well then, if
The,
that's-
the other grant writing opportunities are great ideas, but those are really best directed to Rocky,
Right.
probably
Okay.
not to council. Because it's not like Rocky's ignoring grant opportunities out there. If one pops up, they'll jump on it, right?
The only way I take grant opportunities to council is if there's a matching requirement in the village.
okay. So then what you're saying is our recommendation should just be around the rent?
I think so, because that's how the agenda item was
Okay,
worded.
all right,
So I make a motion to recommend to council to have a consistent rent across the new units of somewhere around 1375.
Okay.
It's good.
I second it.
all in favor?
Hi.
All right, motion passed. All right, so we are hitting up against our time. We haven't talked about phase 2 moving forward towards home ownership. Other than just the home wise, we've talked about it before. I don't know if that should be tabled or if we have time to continue.
Was there something specific, I guess, you wanted to talk about from her presentation that relates to phase 2?
Well, one of the things that she brought up that I think would be really important, and I've done some research on this, is that the one thing that we don't want, well, okay, first of all, phase 2 is gonna be homes for purchase, okay? So the one thing that we don't want to do is build homes that we can't occupy.
Right,
So what they do is they help fill the pipeline. So when we're done building, they have, if we build 15 homes, they got 15 buyers ready. They've done financing for them, or, they've
Right.
down payments.
pre-approval. and all
They've
that.
done all those things that she was mentioning. And we can empty that pipe into there and ensure us that we're not gonna end up with a home that we're paying a mortgage for and nobody's in it.
Right,
So that's what I was excited about, her maybe helping us out with that, because especially if it's for free, and then their commissions are off the bones and that kind of thing, so. Which the people have to get anyway.
and I know one time we had a guy come and talk, the developer that owns the corner out at the blinking light.
Yeah.
And I think he did some kind of presentation, like they would do workforce housing rentals and then after 10 years or 5 years or something like that, then it could be a purchase. I don't know how the village feels about that, or, or if the thought was that we would do lease purchase, like lease kind of purchase things. There's those kind of programs that are out there. I see that a lot.
So far, what I've heard, the mayor really wants to make these for purchase,
Okay,
and I would like to quickly share, just. It's exciting to me, because I didn't realize it until I figured it out. Maybe you all already know it, but for me, it was new news to me. Can I explain that real quick?
sure.
Okay. So I told you I applied for the 1.89.
Yeah.
Okay, that was for those items. So if we get the money to buy the property, I applied, there's another fund, the 30 million, that doesn't expire until 2030, or expenditures can happen until 2030. I asked for 5-point-something million. That 5 point something million was to buy 15 homes. we talked to this company in Roswell, and we can buy 1,400 square foot homes with the garage for about $289 a piece. So we figured we had $50,000 each for infrastructure and different costs, around $320,000 each for a home. So if we put 15 homes in that 20 acres, if we buy that 20 acres next to the school, if that's the acreage we buy, and we sell those 15 homes, we end up with our grant money back.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So,
Which you can use to
so,
do.
right, so I went to Brett, I said, well, what are we gonna do with, I mean, how do we do that? We get the money, we build these 15 homes, and then we've got the money, but do we have to give it back to them, or what? So I'm working with them, in fact, I'm gonna meet with them again. But we thought, well, we can build 15 more homes,
Mm-hmm,
so there's 30. We sell them, we get our 5 million back.
mm-hmm.
We build 15 more or whatever more, get up to 40 homes on 20 acres. We'd only use 10 acres if we put them on a quarter acre each. Okay, so we've used 10 acres of the 20, we put 40 homes and we still have our grant money, or some of it, okay,
Mhm.
most of it. And then we would go ahead and put another apartment complex on the next 10 acres, which would expend the last of the money left.
Mm-hmm,
So we put maybe another 40 unit apartment complex, just a guess.
mm-hmm. Then you.
For $5 million, we've made 80 homes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Maybe it's only 60. It's
Hopefully it does
still,
work that way.
it's still a great model.
Right,
And so I did the math on 80, but at $5 million, we basically built 80 homes for about 75,000 each.
mhm. That's not bad. Hopefully it can work that way. That would be great.
Yeah, so that was just something that I was like, wow, that's a great model. And when I explained it to Workforce Solutions, they're pretty excited about it. So, because their 5 million is gonna go a lot further than just 15 homes.
Right.
Awesome. That's
Good work, Rick.
all I can say about that.
Yeah.
Good man.
Okay. So we don't really have any action items on that, other than.
No, I just wanted to share with you what our vision is for phase 2.
I think
It
that's
is for
great.
purchase, yeah.
That's exciting.
I'm sorry, what, Mel? Or Maya?
I just said that's exciting.
Yeah, it is. Okay, item F was additional work rules for the workforce housing tenants. This was a discussion that we had before about, and this was an action item. We just discussed that because of those units, they have wall panels, so they're not easy to repair. That we really didn't want people mounting TVs. We prefer them to use command hooks, and so maybe we wanted to add those to their lease agreements going forward, or could we, rules and regulations. Any thoughts on that? I mean, I mean, we discussed it before. I don't know if Rocky or the Ham Property Management had any thoughts on it or anything like that, or if this is something that we,
No, we haven't really had that discussion yet.
okay, so we just want to table, you want to maybe have, I mean, we could vote on making those recommendations to be added to the lease agreement, okay? So do I have a motion to make those two recommendations as
Yeah.
part of the lease agreement?
I would like to make a motion to add additional rules to the workforce housing units, no mounting televisions on the walls, and requirements to use command hooks for hanging items on the walls.
I have a second?
Second.
Second, okay. All in favor?
Bye.
I,
Okay, all right, motion passed. Okay, and then lastly, we come to discussion of the committee members. So as I mentioned, I don't want to make this about me, but as I mentioned, I have been thinking about resigning for quite a few months because I can barely make it to the meetings to begin with. So, and we're always scheduling around me, so I think but we are in a really good spot. I think with Rocky and with Jake, as our support team that, and we've got Mel and as a new member who is, I feel like, a great team lead type of person. So,
The only thing I'll say is there was a rule implemented that you have to bring a replacement before you can resign. We haven't told you about the rule yet. We're making it up right now.
Well, I mean, I have really enjoyed.
second that.
Everyone. Yeah. Yeah, I wish we would have brought 2 members for it, but I understand the whole. So, anyway. So, but it's been good, and I don't think I'm leaving in a tough spot. I think I'm leaving in where we're quite well established, and so, anyway.
You've been very instrumental.
Yes,
Well, thank you,
definitely,
thank you.
definitely appreciate all the hard work.
Thank you.
Yes.
So that means Mel's gonna have to be your new chair. Oh, wait, Josh
Hey,
wants.
hey,
Josh-
hey,
Josh-
yeah,
I
I vote Joshua.
I thought Josh would take.
Yeah, Josh is gonna do it. No, I don't know. So y'all need to,
Well,
we can have that discussion here, or we can have it
We still have to get another.
in a secretary too.
yeah, so you will need to, because you are officially vice chair
I'm
already.
officially vice chair and unofficially taking minutes.
Okay, so you need another person. You need to vote on who's going to be the chair, whether it's gonna be you or if you'll continue as vice
Somebody else
chair.
wants to-
Or somebody else will volunteer to be chair, and then we'll talk to the mayor, because it's the mayor that seats committee members.
Okay,
We just seated one last night on Firewise, so
okay.
I will put that bug in the mayor's ear that we need another committee member here. Do you all want to wait on voting for secretary and chair until you see who that committee member is? Or do you want to, I mean, functionally, you still have a vice chair, as long as the minutes get updated from the last one and these turned in, you don't have to select a secretary today, but you'll have to do it at the next meeting. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think I took fairly decent
Do
notes.
we have to have a secretary if we're doing it this way?
You do, yeah, all the committees need a secretary and a chair. Most of them have a vice chair as well. But if you're in flux, if Elizabeth's gonna step down and we're gonna put one more person in here, unless any of you are just jumping up and down right now to say, I want to be chair, or I want to be secretary, in which case I'll shut up and let you do that.
I mean, I'm kind of doing secretary and kind of doing
Mhm.
chair. I'll do whatever I need to do, guys.
Maya or Mel? Any volunteers for anything?
It's my first day. Yeah,
Well, I will
I'm happy
share
to
on my
help,
first
however.
day.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to help, however, whatever you guys need.
So do we need to vote on secretary next meeting?
You can, yeah, next meeting, so you don't have to vote on anything now. I guess we will officially consider this Elizabeth's last meeting, which is fine. Thank you for all the hard work you've done.
Yes.
My only ask,
Yes. So-
my only ask of all of you then, for not voting, is if you have anyone you would like to serve on this committee with, text me, text the mayor, because we're gonna be trying to fill Elizabeth's shoes here over the next couple of weeks, so that would be the only ask at this point.
I was just gonna ask Rocky if you could email that document that you were referring to.
The governance and the
Today,
income cap.
No, the diagram that you made about your projection numbers and all that stuff. I'd like to see that. Unless I missed
Oh,
it
this
somewhere.
one.
No, you're right. I'll do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I think, Rocky, you probably have the most current governance document. I think it was, yeah.
I
Okay.
have latest, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So just be that we need to make these recommendations, and then so you'll take those to council.
So that governance document is not code. Does council need to approve changes to it? Think about that.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, think on if we need to, I don't know that council needs to officially approve it. You can ask. I mean, it's a pretty basic thing, command strips and don't tear the walls up with TV mounts, but.
Where there has to be a case of council now.
Okay,
Okay.
well, one more smack of the gavel there,
Okay.
Madam Chair.
All right.
Wait, what are we
Good one.
thinking?
Yeah, make it-
Oh, wow, when is your next meeting? That would be, we better do that first.
I think we should probably try to fill the chair, backfill the role first. So that if that person does want to be chair or secretary, they can be here for it. I don't think we have any specific asks of the committee right now, do we?
Not at this point.
Okay.
So I would leave it open until such time as we have a ask of you or we have a new committee member to seat.
So maybe, can we just ask like, Rocky, who do we ask to kind of follow up on that? Because usually that would be like me to,
Yeah, I would say Josh and Rocky,
Okay.
sometime in either June or July, we will have a meeting, but I don't think we need to work on a date for it yet because that next committee member is gonna be a big part of it.
okay. All right, so that, just as long as we know that's.
I would say July.
Okay, all right, meeting adjourned.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, let's see y'all around the community.
My apologies for being out these last 3 weeks. I have been busier than Elizabeth.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.